Okay, local law enforcement saw him. So did people at the rally. Joining me now from Senate Homeland Security, Senator Roger Marshall. Senator, you were at the hearing today. What did you make of this? It was really, Senator, it was really frustrating.
Yeah, Elizabeth, it was frustrating. This is what I would share with you, is that folks back home don't trust the FBI. They have no faith or confidence in the Secret Service right now. And this hearing did nothing to relieve those fears, that the Secret Service has significant institutional problems, cultural issues within it, and that's why they need a big change. We need somebody to come in there, a crisis intervention team, someone like a Mike Pompeo that would come in, take control of that Secret Service, turn it upside down and start over. And I'm just telling you, there's nothing that this Secret Service director is going to be able to do right now. He cannot see the forest for the trees, that he's not objective. He's trying to protect everybody's job. People should be at least placed on relief until we get to the bottom of this.
You know, Senator Josh Hawley tweeted the Secret Service director is testifying, you know, people made mistakes. He won't say who they are, won't fire anyone, that they know more from whistleblowers than the Secret Service. You know, Real Clear Politics has been reporting, based on anonymous sources, that the acting Secret Service director was involved in denying more security resources to Trump's rallies. Why?
Yeah, I think that's one more question that he really either answered, he either lied about it or led us astray. He would not tell us who was responsible for denying President Trump more security. He wouldn't tell us who makes the decisions to say, no, we're not going to use a drone. He would not say who drew the security line and left 10 buildings within direct line of the president. So even within days, a normal postmortem on an event like this should reveal those basic stops to say, here's where the basic mistakes were. These are the people that we've relieved of their duty. We've made these corrections to protect President Trump at the next rally.
Okay, here's the issue. Here's what the concern is. There was bias against President Trump inside the FBI when he was president. There's fears that Alejandro Mayorkas runs the Secret Service as head of Homeland Security, that there may still be bias against President Trump. Are you worried about that?
You know, absolutely. And this is why Americans don't trust the FBI. They don't have faith in the Secret Service. Are these political motivations to deny President Trump his protection, deny RFK Jr. protection, because it legitimizes them as candidates for the president as well? So I don't think there's rank and file security members out there that care whether they're protecting a Republican or Democrat. But these decisions at the top level, it sure feels like they're political. And of course, with Secretary Mayorkas, who's been impeached, that's allowed 11 million people across the border illegally. Yes, America's concerned. I'm concerned.
Okay, so there's also this. For some reason, the Secret Service's drone platform was not working the day of the Butler rally because of cellular bandwidth problems. That could have caught the shooter. Watch President Trump say he's not going to be stopped. He's still going to campaign in Pennsylvania, where he was nearly assassinated. And watch him talk about First Lady Melania Trump's reaction to her husband nearly getting killed. Watch.
I think it's important symbolically. I don't think we should be stopped by somebody that has severe mental problems or whatever his problem was.
They're gonna
She was watching live. It was all over the place. I said, so what was you feeling? And she can't really even talk about it.
Traumatized.
Which is okay, because that means she likes me.
No, she
loves me. But I will say this, look, she was, when I went down, she thought the worst had happened because I went down.
Okay, that's terrifying for the First Lady. We've got breaking news coming in. We like your reaction. We've got a brand new Nate Silver 538 forecast. Shows President Trump has a 61% chance of winning versus Vice President Kamala Harris at 38%. Also, a new Harvard-Harris CAPS poll, Trump is leading Harris 52% to 48%. And an Economist YouGov poll, less than 4 out of 10 independent voters say Harris is qualified to be president. Trump leads Harris in Pennsylvania and Michigan. Some polls, like Emerson, say he's tied in Wisconsin. We got those new polls coming in. What do you say? Is the honeymoon period over for Kamala Harris?
Well, it may be, because she has a policy she has to vouch for. She has to take responsibility for those 11 million illegal immigrants that came across the border. She has to take responsibility for a long history of being soft on crime as well. Look, Joe Biden gave you $6 a gallon gasoline. Kamala Harris is going to give you $8 a gallon gasoline. But we're going to run right through the tape. We know we're going to have to work hard. The Democrats have an endless amount of money. So the fight is on.
Senator Marshall, always a pleasure having you on, sir. Good to see you again. That was quite a hearing today. Now this